Big news has now arrived on Gunners. You want to know all the details, so follow me until the end of the video. But first, if you are in love with Arsenal, show your love and subscribe to THE channel now and turn on notifications. Here we post daily news and behind the scenes of the biggest club in THE Premier League, Arsenal. Thank you. Everything Mikel Arteta said about Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, Gabriel's injury, set pieces, and ease. Mikel Arteta spoke to the media ahead of Arsenal's clash with Crystal Palace, and Football.London has the full coverage from his press conference. Eberechi Eze will face his former club on Sunday, and Arteta reflected on the emotions of playing against old friends. He also delved into Arsenal's set-piece strategy, a topic that continues to dominate discussion, and provided updates on Gabriel Magalhaes and other long-term absentees. Not much to report, really. Big Gabby had to leave the pitch with an issue, and he hasn't trained yet. We'll see how he progresses over the next 24 hours and whether he'll be available for the weekend, Arteta said. When asked about the long-term injuries to Majuk, Degaard, Havertz, and Jesus, he added, all of them are progressing really well, starting to do certain activities. They're all very eager to be available as soon as possible, but at this moment, none of them are in contention for next week. On Arsenal's incredible defensive record, just 3 goals conceded in 12 games, the lowest in club history, Arteta said. Yes, we want records like this to translate into titles and trophies, of course. The more we maintain this level, the closer we get to our goals. This defensive record is impressive, but we need consistency. It's only the beginning of the season. Our aim is to keep improving, refining the areas where we can do better. Regarding Crystal Palace and Eze facing his former club, Arteta emphasized team focus. It's a big game for us. Last season we dropped points against several teams we now have a chance to beat this season. For Eze, it will be a special game given his history at Palace, but our focus remains on the team. These 4 matches are opportunities to approach things differently than we did last year. On managing squad depth and player expectations, there are 2 sides. Emotionally, I'd love to play everyone. But the alternative, having fewer options as we did in previous years, is far worse. Now we've built a strong, competitive, and supportive environment that challenges players in every game. That's the goal, and we're moving toward it. On Crystal Palace's form and Jean-Philippe Mateta. Stopping him starts with understanding the team. They're very organized and know exactly when and how to attack. In one-on-one situations, he's very prolific, so we try to disrupt those moments as best as we can. On Victor's recent form, there was no need for a talk, just a hug. We all celebrated because he truly deserves it. 15 goals already this season. The joy he showed is exactly what we want from our players. Regarding Arsenal's reliance on set pieces, I don't separate open play and set pieces. Football is football. But yes, we work hard on set pieces because they happen frequently and have huge value. That's why we focused on perfecting them over the years. 10 years, in fact. On defensive philosophy and replicating past Arsenal successes. I look at teams historically with strong defenses, and most often they win championships. We aim to build a solid base because the stronger we are defensively, the more likely we are to win games. On managing perfection. Our team isn't perfect. There are things to improve, but also many things we do extremely well. Margins at this level are tiny. The more alert and prepared we are, the better chance we have to win. On fan impact and Emirates atmosphere. Key. One of the most important aspects. We don't want fans to just watch. We want them to play with us. Their energy gives us an edge, and that can intimidate opponents. That mindset has to be in place every game. On Eze facing his old teammates. There's emotion, history, and close relationships. But that makes you want to win even more. He's motivated to succeed here and make an impact in his career. On Declan Rice and set-piece mastery. He's evolving into a complete player, capable of contributing in multiple ways, including set pieces. That's a huge asset for us. On Zubimendi's adaptation to the Premier League. He brings composure, hierarchy, and intelligence to our midfield. He sees the game differently, creates space, and disrupts opponents. If he scores as well, that's a bonus. But his understanding and synergy with teammates elevate him to another level. On Arsenal's long-term vision and patience. This is a decade-long journey. It's about building culture, training smart, and constantly finding ways to improve. Football doesn't stop, and we connect every aspect of the game, defense, transition, attack, to create unpredictability and efficiency. Finally, on Arsenal's defensive record and challenges ahead. Records are nice, but football is unpredictable. We focus on the process. If we keep improving, we'll see where we are at the end of the season. Conceding just one goal from open play so far is a great start, and it's a warning to other teams. Arsenal is tough to beat. The anticipation for Arsenal's clash with Crystal Palace goes beyond just points on the table. Arteta's words underline a broader narrative. The Gunners are not just chasing victories, they're chasing identity, consistency, and the breaking of historical records. With just 3 goals conceded in 12 games, Arsenal is already rewriting its defensive history. But the implications go further. For opponents, it sends a warning. Breaking through this defense is a daunting task. For fans, it sparks renewed hope that this team can combine style with results, a hallmark of Arteta's philosophy since his arrival. The emotional subplot with Eberechi adds another layer to Sunday's game. Facing his former teammates, personal stakes are high, but Arteta insists the collective goal outweighs individual stories. There's history, yes, but what matters is what we do as a team, he emphasized. Yet the tension between personal pride and team objectives is palpable, promising moments of intrigue and intensity on the pitch. Injury management also remains a critical factor. Gabriel Magalhaes' uncertain availability highlights the fine margins Arsenal must navigate to maintain momentum. The gradual return of Madueke, Degaard, Havertz, and Jesus is promising, but also a reminder that squad depth, while enviable, must be carefully balanced. Arteta's insistence on creating a competitive and supportive environment is not just about fairness, it's strategic. Players know that competition for places drives performance, keeping everyone sharp and motivated. Set pieces, often underestimated by opponents, continue to be a decisive weapon. Arteta's decade-long focus on maximizing these moments has already borne fruit this season. But it's not just about scoring, it's about creating unpredictability, controlling game rhythm, and imposing Arsenal style. As Arteta puts it, football is football. Every moment is connected. Looking ahead, the game against Palace is more than a tactical challenge. It's a test of mental resilience, a showcase for emerging talents like Victor and Zubimendi, and a statement of intent for the Premier League. If Arsenal succeeds, it reinforces the idea that Arteta's vision, patiently built over years, is now bearing tangible results. Failure, of course, would remind everyone how delicate consistency can be at this level. The broader footballing world is watching. Analysts will dissect every defensive action, every set piece, and every moment of brilliance or lapse. Fans are already buzzing on social media, debating how Ease will perform, how Arsenal's defense will cope, and whether this record-breaking start signals a title challenge or simply early season form. For the players, it's motivation. For the coach, it's validation of a long-term strategy. In the Emirates, the atmosphere will be electric. Arteta's emphasis on fan participation underscores the club's belief that a stadium full of engaged supporters is not just background noise, it's an active contributor to performance. How the crowd reacts to key moments could tip the balance, especially in a high-stakes, emotionally charged match like this one. Ultimately, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace is more than a match. It's a microcosm of everything Arteta is building: tactical discipline, individual brilliance, emotional intelligence, and a relentless drive to create history. And as the season unfolds, the repercussions of this game, both on the scoreboard and on the psychological momentum of the squad, could be felt for months to come. Arsenal given huge title boost after Manchester United stuns Liverpool at Anfield. Arsenal's title dreams were handed a massive boost this weekend, courtesy of an unlikely ally. On Sunday night, Manchester United pulled off a stunning 2-1 victory at Anfield, delivering a major blow to Liverpool's title hopes and helping Arsenal widen their lead at the top of the Premier League table. The result leaves the Gunners 4 points ahead of Liverpool and just 3 behind Manchester City, tightening the title race as the season enters its final stretch. United, under manager Ruben Amorim, didn't just steal 3 points, they disrupted the rhythm of a Liverpool side already struggling for form. Bryan Mbeumo opened the scoring early, finishing confidently past Georgi Mamadashvili after a well-worked move that sliced through Liverpool's shaky backline. It was United's intent from the start that caught the hosts off guard. Mbeumo's goal was only the beginning. Bruno Fernandes later punished a poor header from Virgil van Dijk, picking up the ball and finding Ahmad on the right flank. The young winger drove at Liverpool's defence, which has now conceded 4 goals in 3 straight losses, and calmly slipped Mbeumo through again to open the scoring. Though Cody Gakpo managed to equalise late on, the parity didn't last long. Moments after the restart, Harry Maguire rose above Ibrahima Konate and powered home a textbook header that sealed the win and left Anfield stunned. For Liverpool, it marked a 3rd consecutive Premier League loss, an alarming trend for a side that just weeks ago looked like genuine title contenders. For Arsenal, it was the best kind of gift, a key rival slipping just as the Gunners build momentum. Now, with the Reds dropping to 4th place, Arsenal sits firmly in control of their own destiny. The North London side, fresh off a composed 2-0 win over Fulham at Craven Cottage on Saturday, now looks ahead with confidence, and just a hint of renewed belief. After that victory, MIKEL Arteta was quick to acknowledge how important these final games are, not just in points, but in mentality. Recent history wasn't on our side here, Arteta told reporters after the Fulham match. We wanted to change that, like we did at Newcastle and West Ham. This is another step. Playing against a strong opponent in a tough situation, we showed the kind of mentality we need if we want to win things. The Arsenal boss admitted his side had a shaky start but praised their control and composure as the match wore on. In the first 10 to 15 minutes, we struggled a bit. Some unusual mistakes led to transitions. But after that, we settled in and started to control the game. We talked a lot about knocking on the door against teams like this. They're well organized. The longer the game went on, the more confident we became, and we managed to get another clean sheet and 3 points. With just weeks remaining in the campaign, Arteta emphasized adaptability as key in the title run-in. You have to play your best football depending on the opponent and the context. The best version of ourselves against Atletico Madrid, for example, will look very different from what we needed today. It's about understanding where we can hurt teams and playing to those strengths. And with injuries piling up across squads and fixture congestion taking its toll, squad management will be more crucial than ever. We know the schedule, Arteta added. You can see it not just with our players, but there's some injuries, fatigue. That's why you need a strong squad, and you need to manage it well to get the most out of everyone. Since replacing Unai Emery in December 2019, Arteta has reshaped Arsenal into one of the most consistent sides in Europe. Yet, the Spaniard still has just one major trophy to show for it, the 2020 FA Cup. That may be about to change. With Liverpool stumbling, Arsenal has a golden opportunity to stay ahead and put pressure on Manchester City. Next weekend could be another turning point. Liverpool travel to Brentford, while Arsenal host Crystal Palace at the Emirates. Both fixtures carry risk, but the Gunners know they now have momentum, and crucially, belief. And while there's still a long way to go, it's starting to feel like this might finally be Arsenal's year. While Arsenal took care of business against Fulham with a professional, controlled performance, it's the inconsistency of their rivals that has suddenly shifted the momentum of this title race. Liverpool's form, once relentless, has faltered at the worst possible moment. 3 consecutive league defeats have raised serious questions about their resilience and tactical direction under new manager Arne Slot, who is still finding his footing at Anfield. For many Liverpool supporters, the loss to Manchester United was more than just 3 points dropped, it was a wake-up call. Defensive errors, disjointed midfield play, and a lack of urgency in the final third have plagued the Reds in recent weeks, and the defeat now leaves their title hopes hanging by a thread. United's win, meanwhile, doesn't just impact Liverpool. It may have indirectly handed Manchester City a psychological advantage as well. Pep Guardiola's side, currently 3 points ahead of Arsenal with a game in hand, knows they've been in this position before. They've won titles by margins as slim as a single point. But what City didn't count on was Arsenal staying this close, and Liverpool suddenly slipping out of reach. In the Arsenal camp, the mood is one of cautious optimism. Players and staff understand the fine margins at this stage of the season. Every mistake is amplified. Every dropped point could be decisive. Arteta, who has been vocal about learning from last season's collapse, has worked hard to instill a sense of emotional control and resilience in his players. The experience of losing the title to City last May, after leading for the majority of the campaign, still lingers in the minds of many at the Emirates. This time, however, the team looks more mature. Defensively, Arsenal have become more compact and disciplined. In midfield, the balance between structure and creativity is sharper. And up front, players like Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and Declan Rice have stepped up in moments that matter. Off the pitch, the mood among supporters has shifted too. What was once cautious hope has turned into genuine belief. Social media was flooded with reactions after the Liverpool result, with Arsenal fans acknowledging not just their own team's consistency, but the significance of United's upset at Anfield. Still, no one at Arsenal is getting carried away. The fixtures ahead present potential stumbling blocks. Brentford's physicality, Crystal Palace's unpredictability, and looming clashes against top-6 opposition will all test Arsenal's mettle. And of course, there's still the ever-looming presence of Manchester City, who remain the favourites in many eyes simply due to their experience and squad depth. But if the past few weeks have proven anything, it's that this title race is far from over, and perhaps more open than anyone expected. As Arteta said in his post-match interview, it's not just about playing well, it's about playing smart. You can't just play beautiful football every week, he said. Sometimes you have to fight. Sometimes you have to suffer. But if you stay together, stay focused, and take your chances when they come, then you give yourself a real shot. For Arsenal, that shot is still alive. And with just a handful of games remaining, every pass, every tackle, every goal will matter. What seemed like an uphill climb just a few weeks ago now looks like a title race Arsenal can genuinely win.